2002, it appeared that they'd overcome all of those problems, and it all slightly unraveled last year, and so they may well need some help in building their sense that they are winners and can be winners here. There's Matthew Pinsent in stroke, Alex Partridge 3, Steve Williams and Ed Code in the picture there going off, and they are now in well, they're in the leading pack, second up from the bottom of the picture as we look at them. Ed Code sitting up in the bow seat there. Now they've moved forward into the lead. They came through in 3 or 4 strokes there. That was a devastating push from 3rd place to 1st place, just straight through. So lane 6 at the bottom of the picture. Then we have Slovenia, and then we see Matthew Pinsent in the middle of the picture there, 3rd up from the bottom, above the name Camelot, the sponsor, and moving around the boat to Ed Code and out to show that they have a quarter of a length, or a bit under a quarter of a length, lead over the field. Sandwiched between Slovenia and Germany.
Yeah, this is the way that the British four likes to go. It's a domination that really serves them well. They like to send this message out, and there you can see Matthew Pinsent leading Great Britain through the first quarter, but being shadowed there by the German four in that very distinctive pink boat, so always easy to pick their crew out.
And Matthew is somebody who likes to race from the front, and then he's a bit of a showman. He doesn't necessarily like to build up too much of a lead, and so he is one of those racers that if it goes wrong and he's too far behind, the tactics come rather less easily to him. He much prefers to be the dominant player.
124.86 for the first quarter, 125.31 for Germany. Just behind them, Slovenia 3rd, Denmark, the Netherlands and Russia in 6th place. Question in from John Boltby about the weather.
Well, he's asking whether or not the wind, which looks directly tail from here, could be uneven across the course. And the answer is that I haven't had an athlete up in the box here with a grievance to tell, so I would guess that it's probably fairly even. This course hasn't got a reputation for being fair on one side or the other. It is equally open all around, and the wind looks fairly straight, so I would guess that the results are not impacted by that tailwind. I think it's just improving things for everybody.
Well, Hugh, joining us now in the commentary position, Andreas Maul, who's the personal coach to Marcel Hacker, and he'll have a very good view about this German four as we come to the 1,000 meter mark. Andreas, thanks for joining us. How do you see the race at the moment?
Thanks for the invitation, David, and hello to the Eurosport fans. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, that's what you said, you guys. You know that British, they like to lead the pack, and I think the Germans, they will battle it out on the 3rd 500. So I think now the race is getting to the important spot at this moment. And to ask about a question from John Boltby. Hey John, how are you? From our side, Marcel said in his race that the wind is quite differently turning on the course, so it's not clear coming down from one side. It's turning the first 500, the second 500, so we see how this works, but I think it's not unfair. I mean, it comes maybe a bit from the side, but it's not unfair, and it's quite good rowable.
Andreas, just one quick question on this. We were talking the other day about last year's World Championship final where Germany were pushed back to 3rd place. You had a thought that sometimes the German crew just think a little bit too much about everything.
I think the Germans this year, they changed a bit their thing. They focus more, I think, on the Olympics and to perform the cruise over the season, and not right now at the moment. I mean, you have to be in the pack, otherwise you won't make it at the end. But you have to be close, but it's not necessary, I think, to win every race. We saw that before in the men's single. Maybe it works that you make it, maybe not, but it's all close, and that makes rowing interesting at the moment.
Fine, we'll come back for your analysis in a moment. Let's go into the last quarter of the race, and it is Great Britain who've got a good advantage, 131.45 for that 3rd quarter there for Great Britain. Germany 131.51, so they're almost matching each other in terms of boat speed, and Slovenia 131.45, so 3 boats are really hammering away.
the British crew had a little gain on them made by the Germans in the middle of the third 500, but they stretched it out again, so they were slightly further ahead in the third than they had been at 1,000 meters, and they're looking very confident now. The little bit of distress you can see on their faces is exactly what they expect. Matthew wouldn't want to be here if he wasn't feeling that distress, and I would expect them to hold on pretty well. Steve Williams in the 2 seat, you can see him, he's grimacing there as well, but he's absolutely one of the toughest guys around, and he will not relinquish this lead easily.
So Matthew Pinsent, the IOC member, he's really asking the questions of his crew there. Triple Olympic gold medalist, 10 times a world champion. But look on the near side, look at the Slovenians. They're coming really quickly. This is the Pira brothers, and they are trying to move themselves up into certainly a podium position. But it is Matthew Pinsent sitting behind him on the 3 seat. Alex Partridge, the man who was born in San Francisco. Then it's Steve Williams. Then it's Ed Code. About 5 strokes to go to the line. Germany in second place, Slovenia third. Slovenia being challenged on the far side by Denmark in lane 2, had a very fast third quarter there. Also close up are the Russians, who are moving as well. The Netherlands on the far side, but it is Great Britain who get there ahead of Germany and Slovenia, and that, Hugh, was an absolutely cracking race. It was a full-on race.
Very emphatic. They were 1.56, well, 1 second 0.56 ahead at the halfway, and then 2:12. So they opened out an extra half second over that last 500 meters, improving their gap all the way. A very, very impressive performance by them, and characteristically Matthew there just puffing a little bit, but still paddling on, determined not to show how knackered he is by that finish.
Let's bring Andreas in for his thoughts on that. Andreas, cracking race.
Hey David, I'm thinking what happens when the Canadians and US coming back, you know, like in Lucerne, hopefully maybe in Munich. I heard that they come to Munich, so that's quite getting interesting how this works out. But congratulations to Jürgen, he did a great job. He had some problems there with James Cracknell, but you know, you can see how he fits the guys into the boat that each can row to the other, so it's quite interesting. We'll see how the 8 goes at the last race, but now we have to continue first that.
And your thoughts for the German 4? Here we are going off the start again.
I mean, the Germans, I did some races also over 6Ks and things in the past week, so I think they come up, but at the moment it looks really dominating. And as we saw it in the third 5, the Germans were coming back into the race to make it, but then they were clever, and Matthew, he did it really clever. He was just on the point, on the spot to respond that made it at the end. So when they came in for the fourth 500 for the last 5, then he made it, you know, with his experience.
Yeah, and this is why he's a triple Olympic gold medalist and 10 times a world champion.
That's exactly right. That makes it. That's the feeling. That's the point when you have to make it.
And with all the chopping and changing, Hugh, this is going to give great confidence to the British camp, isn't it?
It certainly will. But Ed Code, you can see him sitting in the bows there. He fits that crew absolutely perfectly. And I mean, you know, it's bad luck on him that James Cracknell is waiting to come back in, because they are, in this context, that they fit like gloves extremely well, and there they are paddling down in front of us now, not on the picture, but they look completely relaxed. And Matthew, who had a horrendous season last year, he lost in the World Cup, he didn't make a medal for the first time in his life ever in Milan in the World Championships, and now he's back, and there he is raising his fist as they cross the line there. He's back where he thinks he belongs, and where I'm afraid the rest of the world has got used to him.